All right, it says I'm live. I hope I am. I have no idea. Let me know. You guys are out there. Let me know. Type into the comment section whether or not I'm live or not, whether you can hear me, whether the sound is on, whether I got it muted, whether I've done something wrong. I look horrible because it is 100 degrees, 97 last time I checked, about 20 minutes ago. Coming off about 2 days of really, really, really hot days. It's supposed to be in the 70s tomorrow. We got a cold front coming through, but it's going to be windy. But about 20 minutes ago, it was about 97. I don't know if we hit 100 today. We probably were pretty close yesterday and today. So I am hot, sweaty, no fan, no breeze, nothing happening, but hot and humid. All right, glad you guys could be here. Y'all come on in, push in. Come on into the Bunker Nation, push in here, and type into the comment section where you are. Say hi, be courteous. All right. Welcome, everybody. My name is Michael Bunker. This is the Bunker Nation. I'm going to be your host for the evening. Hello, Hava. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Pat. Hello, Daniel. I think I said Daniel twice. The guy's so great at posting memes that they named him twice. All right, let me do the box thing, and then we'll get on with the show. All right, today's a Q&A, whatever day this is, Sunday, I think. Let me tell you kind of an update of what's going on. I'm sweating because it's hot. That's the only thing that really matters. But we just got back from Lubbock. We went up to Lubbock for the weekend. 2 weekends in a row, but we had to for a couple of different reasons. We went up on, I'm just confused. I have no idea, Saturday morning. It was my aunt's 90th birthday party on Saturday. So we got to see a couple of my aunts, got to see uncles, cousins, etc. But we were going up there to take some batteries, some old worn out batteries, and then pick up some of the new batteries that are going to be for the solar trailer when I get enough that I can hook them all together and get the solar trailer going again. We're getting close. But I picked up 2 and brought them back. And then my sister, who lives in Houston, was on her way with her husband to Albuquerque and stopped in. And so we got to spend the evening last night with her. Drank a little bit of wine, hung out, headed back this morning. And we were intending to get to church this morning, and we were late. We got back to town about 30 minutes late. So we had a meal in town and got home, and it was hot, just hot. So September, we've had beautiful weather for the last 2 weeks, but it's just been brutal the last 2 days. Up in Lubbock and here. For those of you who don't know, here in Texas, because a lot of you don't get to understand the distances, it's about 3.5 hours from Lubbock to here. So that's what we traveled this morning. We stayed up late last night, went to bed. You can probably see it in my eyes. Went to bed about 3:30-ish, and then got up and tried to make it back in time for church and didn't make it. So I hope everybody's okay. This is going to be a Q&A day. So if you have any questions or comments or topics, you're going to need to carry the weight. Type them into the comment section. Wherever you are, make sure you hit the like button. If you're on YouTube, which we prefer, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can get notifications when I go live. I don't think we've had a like yet. I'm not seeing any. So make sure you smash the like button. It's important for the YouTube algorithm and for Facebook and whatnot. Makes them want to recommend this video or other videos like it to other people and helps the channel. So I'm going to do some updates on the channel. We're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I got a couple of topics, but nothing really, really big. A lot going on in the news. Supreme Court nominee. I did the RGB talk last week, and then I was going to do a video on, I think, Friday. And I put on Facebook, you want me to do a video? And everybody said no. So I didn't do one. What kind of batteries do I use for solar? That's kind of been the topic the last couple of days with me and my father. My father just got a RV. And so he's into, making sure he gets batteries for his system and all that. And I'm getting batteries. There's a lot of different ways you can go. You can spend a lot of money on really, really high-tech batteries, which is fine. You can get Tesla batteries, or you can get lithium-ion batteries, and you can pay $1,300 for one battery that has a lot of capacity that's going to last 20 years or whatever. Or you can spend less money on old technology, and they may last 5 years, but it works. And so we've had our system for over 15 years now. This is the third time we've needed to replace the batteries, which is not normal. Normally these batteries last about 5 years, but we've made them last longer. Or the batteries that are in there right now have been there for 10 years. And they don't work anymore. They're dead. So I'm trying to buy some piecemeal. We had some money to buy batteries about a month ago, and then a bunch of stuff happened at once. You know, you get things that happen, things that come up. Plus we had some car troubles, and then we had 3 pigs that we had to butcher all at the same time, and a lot of stuff happened. So we were able. Hello, Pat, if I didn't say it, Barbara, Ann, good to see you. Glad you guys could be here. Everybody come in, type into the comment section, let me know where you are, because I'm sweating on your behalf. And so the batteries that I'm using right now are golf cart batteries, 6-volt golf cart batteries. We tie them together into 12 volts. So 2 batteries makes a 12-volt battery. And then we tie those. It's called series parallel. My original system had 20 batteries, still a 12-volt system, but it was way too many batteries. It was not necessary. I cut it down to 10 over time as the batteries would die. And then it was down to 8. Which is what it's at right now, but those batteries are all dead. So I basically have power only when the sun's out. So when the sun's out, I charge a separate battery, which is I'm using for the show. That's what's powering my laptop. That's what powering this light, and that's what's powering the internet right now, all off a battery pack, which is and I've done some videos about that. It's the Goal Zero 400 is what we're using right now. All right, so that's about it. But I need probably about 6 more batteries. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. And I apologize again if you're coming in late for my appearance. I was up till 3:30 in the morning. I drove all the way here. It is 100 degrees, and it's hot, and there's no breeze. So that's why I look this way. All right, so good to see you, Cindy. Good to see all of you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. Definitely going to need your comments and your topics. Anything you want to talk about. You got to have questions you want to ask. Or you got to have things you want to talk about. There's got to be some way you guys can participate in making this thing better. So I was going to do a talk on Friday on some things, and then nobody wanted it, so I didn't do it. So I took the night off, and then we got out of town on Saturday morning, etc. So we're watching the Supreme Court thing go on, as expected. I think I even mentioned most likely, if there was a vacancy, that Amy Coney Barrett would be the one. I think everybody knew this back when the last one happened, that she was probably next up. And so, you know, there's the usual turmoil. Everybody's doing exactly what the script says. So Democrats are all up in an uproar because whatever. You're not supposed, I don't know. You're not supposed to do what you do. And you're not supposed to do exactly what you would do if you were in power. And the Republicans are like, hey, we got the votes. If you want to stop it, win elections. And so that's where things are right now. As expected, there was an early shot at her that she was a part of a cult or something that had been the model for the Handmaid's Tale. Which I kind of want to talk about that, but I kind of don't. I really need to do a whole talk about the Karen phenomenon, because that would get me into a lot of things. It would get me into a lot of things like trouble. And I've talked to you guys about doing that rant at some point. At some point, I'm going to get into that. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you. Middle Georgia. Indiana's here. We got all kinds of folks here. Miami, Maine, Montana. Good to see you guys. And so, as expected, she was part of a cult, and that somehow they were modeled on the Handmaid's Tale, and it turned out to be completely not true. Even our author of the book said that's not what she based the Handmaid's Tale on. Didn't matter, because people were already believing that stuff anyway. And those particular people would love to have a religious test for Supreme Court. Here's the thing for everybody to get out of this. Everybody's doing exactly what is expected of them. Every party that is out of power tries to fight nominee, and particularly since Bork, if you've been paying attention, and I have, these things have gotten tremendously ugly. We have yet to see the real firepower. The real firepower will come out. They're not dumb enough to like dump all their heavy artillery right now. We're going to get in a whole argument about the Catholic Church. We're going to get an argument about whether religious people should even be allowed to exist, much less be on the court. So there's going to be a lot of that stuff go on. And then most likely then the ugly stuff will come, and we'll find out that she has literally raped everyone she ever met, and she ate 4 Haitian babies before she adopted 2 of them, and that she's got a microwave in which she puts immigrants. And all of these things are going to happen. They're all expected. You guys know I'm not on one side of the fence or the other. I don't care. I just look at it and go, look, everybody's doing exactly what I expect them to do. Exactly. And so this thing is going to get ugly. It's going to be ugly all the way up until election day. We got 30 days to go, which is why I named this video The Countdown. And all kinds of stuff's going to happen. October is the month where both political parties just dump their septic tanks on the earth and pull out all the stops to become the biggest douchebags that you can be. And America just looks it up and go, man, I sure hope our douchebags win. And that's really how it goes. And so I had a good, refreshing evening last night talking with my sister and her husband. We're both in our 50s, and I have no idea what our politics are. Not a clue. She knows mine only because everything I say and do is public. Everything I think is spilled out onto the internet. So, maybe you don't even know my politics, but she knows everything you know. I have no idea what her politics are. I have no idea how she's ever voted in her whole life. And we get along and we talk. Whenever we're together, we have a good time. We had drank some wine. We talked about some things, this and that. But is it possible that you could actually be a sibling with somebody and love them and care about them and not even know their politics? It used to be. It used to be that way. People used to be able to like function in society without hating people and cutting them off because of their politics. But that's just the world we live in today. And so we had a good night last night and it was fun. But as this stuff is going on, we're watching the political world and the sycophants who on both sides of the fence act exactly as they're expected to act. The main thing I've tried to teach all of you, as long as you've been here, whether that's 20 years, whether that's 15 years, 5 years, the last couple of weeks since March, whatever it is that all of this is predictable. Behavior is predictable. The toilet paper run of March was predictable. What's going to happen in October and what's going to happen in November is predictable. And I've taught you how to look at it, how to pan back, how to study history, what books to read, how to understand what's going on. We are watching a basic replay of what led up to the Bolshevik Revolution. There's a big shadow. This light normally doesn't cast such a big shadow. I actually have some other lights over here that are supposed to show on the background, so it gets rid of the mini-me that's over here. But because I don't have power right now, I'm not able to run them. Once I get 6 more batteries, which we're going to talk about, we'll get them all plugged in, and within 10 days, we could be rocking and rolling, man. We could do shows. I could have lighting. I could have all this kind of stuff. It'd be great. You're right, Barbara Ann. October is going to be crazy. And I hope you're all getting prepared. I gave a mini course, I think it was Friday, on what everybody should be doing and things you could be buying or preserving. It doesn't matter what you do, what I do. If I spend 4 months telling people how to live, so in other words, I taught people back in March, all of you, get chickens, how to do things where you're not dependent on the store. And so I taught all of that, but now we're within 30 days of what could be a trigger for a life-changing social event. And I say, hey, perhaps it might be a little bit late for you to go out and meet a farmer and do some work on their farm so that you can participate with them if things go bad and you have a place to fall back, or you have the ability to get goods and services and things that won't be available at the store. It may be a little late for that. So there's things you can actually buy. I did an article in Shoot On magazine, 7 things you should be doing, and that was in like April. And then I've done several videos. I did a video a month ago called 5 things you should be doing right now. And then on Friday, I put up several posts on Facebook about things you could be doing right now that are still available that you could go out and get. Hopefully you're following me on Facebook, facebook.com/offgrid. But I still get messages from people. They're like, why are you telling people to buy stuff at the store? I thought you were Mr. Off-Grid. Mr. didn't need to buy stuff. I am. That's what I do. I don't need to go to the store. I'm trying to help you based on the real situation on the ground. Question from Hava. She says, how should I state a fact or ask a question without being told to stop defending myself? This is not related to politics. It's just in regular conversation with one person. I don't know the context, and I'll just tell you this up front. When questions like this come up, what I try to do is I try to understand that I don't really know. If I was listening to the interaction, then I could probably say, okay, that person is crazy, or you're probably hearing something wrong. So I really don't know. But if somebody is constantly accusing you of being defensive because you're asking questions, it could be one of 2 things. Number one, your question isn't immediately relevant. And so the asking of the question is clearly designed to defend yourself. In other words, it's possible. Every single person hearing my voice, you should always consider the fact that somebody's saying something to you, they're right. Just consider it. I'm not saying they're right because I have no clue. I'm not involved in the conversation, but just consider it for a minute. Is it possible that you're asking questions? And so let me give you an example of how that would work. People listen to me, or they know what I'm about, and they hear me talking about getting off grid, perhaps separating from the system, becoming more independent, and they don't like it. It's a condemnation of their lifestyle. They don't hear what I'm saying. They hear me saying, you're a bad, dependent piece of flesh that's not capable of living without other people's labor, and you're a bad person. This all just goes on in their head. And so when they ask me a question, their question's really not designed to elicit an honest answer. It's designed to either trap me or to try to offer their defense of their own position. So that somebody might say, well, what would you suggest for somebody who only has one leg and had half of their brain amputated from diabetes, and they have no elbows and they're not capable of lifting a fork to their mouth? Is that even really a question? So I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm saying take a minute and say, okay, is this possible that the questions I'm asking? If they're not, if you look at yourself and you're honest with yourself and you're going, no, I really want to know something, then you need to have to ask yourself, why is this other person that's kind of like gaslighting. If the other person is just constantly saying you're defending yourself, ask them to define what that means. What is it you're trying to defend? If that's what it is, perhaps you can learn something from their whatever their reasoning is. But people are defensive, and they do use questions defensively, and it may be possible that a small percentage of chance that that's what's happening. And if it's not, then the next inquiry is to ask the person honestly, say, I don't understand why you're saying that. I don't understand why you're saying this is defensive. If I really honestly am inquiring about a specific thing, or if you're stating a fact, why is stating a fact defensive? That's the only way you're going to get to the bottom of it. And if the person is just unreasonable and you can never get past that stalemate, you have to move on, either in the conversation or the relationship. I don't know if it's a cousin, sister, whoever it is. You got to find something else to talk about. So I don't know. Like I said, it would always be easier for me if I had context so that I could know. One thing I do for myself, though, is when I get in these situations, is I try to the first thing I try to do is posit that the other person is correct, just for my own exercise of my mental faculties. Perhaps somebody is saying something that's true. And then if it's not, if I cannot by myself or in myself determine that that's what it is, then that's what I do. All right. So I'm sorry that you're upset over this. I understand it's something, and because I don't know the context, I don't know who the person is, but you should never feel worthless. You should never feel worthless. And I hope the other person isn't making you feel worthless. But our worth is never derived from other people or how we feel. Our worth is derived by our creation, that we were created in the image of God. That's what our worth is. And so do not derive your worth from relationships or your worth from anything other than the fact that you were created in the image of God, and that he has certainly has intentions in the world. That's our goal, is to find out what those are and to align ourselves with those. So if you have more questions or something else, or if you want to discuss it off show, that'd be great. Just let me know. All right, everybody. I'm here for you if you have questions or comments. Going back to the topic of the Supreme Court nomination, this is an interesting time that it happened, and I know that there are some conspiracy theories which I never bite on those, not because they're not true. A lot of conspiracies are true. I don't bite on those things because you can't know and I can't know. And to sit there and speculate on things you don't know, or to base information or base behavior or base decisions on things you have no idea. Here's the thing we do know, is everybody is lying to you. So I'm not going to base my policy, my thoughts, my processes, or my plans on conspiracies, unless it is so Occam's razor. It's so obvious that this is probably what happened. But here we are. And so it was very probable that RGB was going to die. Well, it's absolutely positively certain she was going to die, but that she was going to die soon. It was very probable that it was going to be soon enough that it was going to cause some distress in the political world. It was absolutely certain that based on the makeup of the Senate and making the makeup of the rest of the government politically, that everybody was going to behave exactly the way they're behaving. Our stress level should go down when everybody acts predictably. The thing that really, really baffles me the most is when the whole world has become, everybody talks about 2020 being some kind of, and it is weird, no doubt. But people are still acting like people. The toilet paper run was predictable. And so people shaking their hand at predictable behavior is folly. It's just narcissistic theater. Likewise, while I'm not predicting anything, hold on, my laptop's going to go dead. So just stay right there for a second. All right, we saved the day. So while I think I was saying all this stuff is predictable, we should be able to make plans. Here's the thing. If you live in a world where your neighbor 3 doors down launches a potato gun at your house every Tuesday at 2:00, that is irritating. There's a lot of other things that could be brought into the scenario. But you know when it's coming, and you know he's going to do it, and you know exactly how to plan your day. That's a crazy example. Everybody's acting predictably. And we know, and I've proven to you on this show, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the policy and the intent of the rioters and the looters is not to change public opinion. Do I need to go over that again? If their intent is to change public opinion, then what they do is they appeal to the middle. You appeal to the reasonable people. If you're a protester, if you no longer want any football team in the history of the world to ever use an animal mascot, you don't go around burning Burger King down. You don't do that. What you do is you appeal to the people who might listen to you. You have protests, but those protests are designed to sway and change the hearts of people, not your enemies, not the people who are automatically going to stand against you no matter what happens. To change the people's minds who are the most likely to have their minds changed. If you don't want to change anybody's mind, what you do is you continue to raise the stakes, you raise the demoralization, and you raise the destruction to the point that they have to act in an extreme manner. And that's exactly what's going on. So here, what we know absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Antifa and BLM and whoever else is out there, the House of Pancakes, whoever else is out there burning things down and beating up people's cars and dragging people out and killing people, whatever's going on, their goal is not peaceful societal change. Peaceful societal change was already happening. And it's been happening since the beginning of civilization. We've already had a women's rights movement. We've already had women voting bills that have passed. We've already got a civil rights movement. Things have changed. They've changed maybe slower than some people have liked, but they've already changed. The goal now is not peaceful change. The goal is violent change. The goal is revolution. You should know that. And the only reason I'm bringing this up again, because you've heard me say it over and over again, is that it is predictable. It's happened before. They took certain steps. I told you a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I said they're going to start assassinating police officers. They're going to have, we're going to have political assassinations. You're going to have fire bombings. You're going to have, and it's happening exactly like I said. Days after I said you're going to see assassinations of police officers, 2 cops got shot in LA, point blank range, zero reason as far as I'm concerned. And then you had the 2 in wherever it was in Kentucky who were shot by a sniper or whatever it was. Those things are going to become less targeted and they're going to become more seemingly random. Violence is going to spread, but it's going to seem to be random. And so you're going to see fire bombings in diverse places. You're going to see trains derail, all kinds of stuff that's going to be going on. The reason I'm saying that, I'm not predicting it. I'm not prophesying it. I'm saying if you're going down a list and they've hit every check from 1 to 45 and you get to 46, it's probably coming next. It's predictable. You should know that it's predictable because then it allows you to act intelligently. If you're driving in a city and you get surrounded by protesters who are banging on your car and trying to flip it over and trying to catch it on fire, it's predictable what's going to happen if they get you out of that car. It's very likely if you're in a blue run city and you hit somebody or you kill somebody, they're going to charge you with a crime, but that's nothing. That doesn't mean you're ever going to anything permanent's going to happen to you. That's just, they can charge you with a crime at any time for anything. But it's predictable what's going to happen to you if you get yanked out of that car. I'm only using that as an example because what's happening within the next 30 days is predictable. Doesn't mean that what I'm saying is going to happen. I'm saying when things happen, it's not unforeseen. There can be A, B, C, D that are all foreseen consequences, and any one of A, B, C, or D could happen. But to act like you didn't know any of those things could happen and to be surprised every day, like you have dementia or like you have Alzheimer's and you wake up in the morning, it's a new day every day. You don't know anybody. Like nothing ever happened, like no history ever happened, that books were never written, is just stupid. And that's where we are. We have an entire populace that wakes up every day and their heads get dumped full of whatever propaganda they get from their particular flavor of propaganda mill. And every day they're surprised. Like, oh my gosh, they got these women in their cars having meltdowns on TikTok. Oh my gosh, they're going to Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale. Isn't it funny that the Handmaid's Tale cult gave this woman a pass to become the Supreme Court justice and possibly the most powerful woman in the world? They're like, no, today you don't have to just be forced to have babies, like a fiction book that was written fictionally about a fiction society. And these women are melting down over it. It's predictable. The left should be able to predict what's happening. The right should be able to predict what's happening. And intelligent, reasonable people should be able to predict what's happening. And so that's where we are. And I was not going to go on a rant, and I did anyway. So what I want you to do is type a question or a comment or something in the comment section so we can continue without me screaming. It's hot. It's too hot for me to be flailing around. Yeah, when people are doing what you expect, your stress level goes down, your ability to think and your ability to plan and to react properly. If you watch somebody who's really particularly good at martial arts, one of the reasons that they're really good at it is they've trained so much that they're capable of reacting to behavior because the behavior is predictable. When somebody gets really, really, really good at a particular sport or flipping red solo cups or whatever, they get good at it because they do it over and over and over again, and the behavior and the physics of it becomes predictable. If you see somebody who can shoot a ball from half court, a basketball, and make it 50 out of 50 times, the reason why is because they've done it so many times, their skin can determine if there's a breeze in the room or if the humidity is more or less, the spin of the ball, all of that kind of stuff. And everything becomes predictable. Their stress level comes down. They don't make mistakes, and they're able to act and perform properly. That's the way. That's what we want to be. What we don't want to be is the perpetually startled. The people who wake up every day like this. I'm not startled. I'm not startled when douchebags act like douchebags. I'm not surprised when assholes act like assholes. Not at all. Now, my family right now is shaking their hands and they're like, you yell at the people at the ice kiosk every day. You yell at hunters every day because the hunters act like assholes. They're all calling me a hypocrite because I am one. That's predictable. I'm human. I'm a hypocrite. If you park your car this way at the ice kiosk when there's 3 perfectly good car spots that 3 people can pull in, and you park this way because you're just in a hurry, that makes you an asshole. And I scream at you every day. I shouldn't. I should be better than that because it's predictable. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to look at your own behavior and learn from it. Tomorrow, let me tell you how predictable people are. Tomorrow, I will be screaming at the people at the ice kiosk. Not at them. They don't hear me screaming. I'm in the car. I'm 3 blocks away, and I can see freaking stupid Hunter pulling up in his truck who doesn't care about anybody else in the world. And he's parked this way, blocking 4 spots. So you got to stay out in traffic, and you can't pull up there and wait for him to get done, filling his ice cooler, dumping his cans of beer in there so he can drive down your dirt road in a couple of hours and throw the cans out on the road. An ice kiosk, Matt, if you live in the country, I don't know if you guys have these in the big city or not, but it's a small building and it's a business. Nobody works there, but you put money in and you get ice, bags of ice, really cheap. Get a 20 pound bag of ice for $2. I live off grid. So we buy ice so we can have cool drinks every once in a while. And we don't always have to eat canned meat. We can actually buy some meat and it may last a day or two. So an ice kiosk is a place, and there's a really nice one in our town, and there's like 3 or 4 parking spaces. They're not lines. If the guy owning it would put lines in, I would feel more comfortable going in and telling people that they're stupid. But what they do, and they do this at the 7-Eleven, they do this at the grocery store. You probably do it. They tell themselves, I'm just running in. And they park across 2 spaces. If you do that, you're a horrible human being. Don't do that. Be thoughtful. Even if nobody else is in the parking lot, a totally empty parking lot, you park like that, you get caught in there talking to the lady because you're trying to buy cupcakes and you want orange frosting and all they have is purple, and you get a discussion with her. All of a sudden, church lets out and there's 47 people trying to park, and you got 3 parking spaces and you're parked like an asshole. Don't be that guy. All right. Don't be the guy pulling up to the ice kiosk sideways, blocking the whole thing. It seems like what I'm saying now is disconnected, but it's not. Because tomorrow, provided I don't die in my sleep, provided I'm not in a car wreck on the way to town, I'm going to go to the gym at 3:15 in the morning. I wake up at 3:15. Give me a break. 4:05 in the morning. We're going to work out, me and my wife. We're going to finish working out. I'm going to take her to work. And I'm going to drive over to the ice kiosk to get a bag of ice. Some muppet with a $57,000 pickup truck who's going to go shoot a trained deer, who's trained to respond to a corn feeder going off at 7 o'clock in the morning. Mighty Hunter, this one, is going to park across the kiosk, and I'm going to yell at him. The day is coming. If you ever watch Good Will Hunting, I'm looking forward to the day where I just don't care because it's predictable. Why are you upset? Why is your blood pressure up? And I'm just going to go, you know what? I guess that guy has to, he's got a nice truck. He's got a good job. He's happy shooting trained deer. I should just be happy for him. He's on vacation. That's my hope. My hope is that my character will develop to the point where, although all of this is predictable, I will become unpredictable. And so, all right, thank you, Nancy, for sharing that. Always, always, always think of other people. Always. I trained my children from infancy to not be the person blocking the aisle in the grocery store, to not be that predictable person. And so here we go. We're entering into 30 days in which predictable things are going to happen. I've already said this, but I'm going to say it again. That doesn't mean I can tell you A is going to happen, then this is going to happen, then this is going to happen. I'm saying there's a small window of things that are likely to happen, some of them more likely than others. There's A, B, C, and D. We are most likely going to see the handing down of indictments from the Justice Department that are going to be called politically motivated. We're going to see outrage, even though it's completely predictable. We're going to see October surprises. I don't know what the surprises are. We're going to see people going, I don't care if Hunter Biden got $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife who works directly with Vladimir Putin. He paid more in taxes in that payoff payola scheme than Trump did in 2017. It's predictable. It's predictable. It's predictable that the media is going to go, pedophiles everywhere. Man, it doesn't seem like a story to me. What? We got a lady who's directly connecting people to one of the former presidents of the United States in a pedophile ring that had a whole island of women that they kidnapped and all kinds of stuff and all that. Doesn't seem like that's very newsworthy. We got all kinds of stuff happening. Doesn't seem like that's new. What? You're telling me the president only paid $750 in taxes? Stop the presses. That's predictable. It's predictable that a bunch of people who instantly became experts on epidemiology and viruses and 5 minutes later became experts on police procedure are now experts on tax law. That's what's predictable. It's predictable. All right. So now that I've said predictable, if somebody wants to go through and count how many times I said predictable in this show, and I continue to say it, stop being stressed, pay attention, prepare yourself, and do things that are wise. Get yourself ready. It's possible everything's going to go swimmingly. It's possible we're going to go through the next 30 days and everybody's going to go, you know what, I'm just tired. I don't care who becomes a Supreme Court justice. I don't care if this David Souter that they're trying to push on us is going to completely outlaw abortion, which they said he would. I'm talking way over some of y'all's heads now. It's possible that two parties whose entire infrastructure is designed to fight and destroy and to move the entire beast forward by steps are just going to stop for 30 days. It's possible everybody's going to go vote and they're going to announce who won and everybody's going to go, well, that happened. What's going on next? Oh, Halloween. That's possible. It's within the realm of possibility. And it's also possible that the riots are going to get worse, that we're going to see assassinations and attacks in diverse places. We're going to see roaming bands of bandits who've been sent out by billionaires to burn down warehouses in small towns and villages and in the suburbs so that people are afraid. And when they're afraid, they act predictably. That's possible too. And I tell you what, it's way more possible than the first option. Either could happen. Don't call me later on and go, hey, they're all singing Kumbaya on Capitol Hill. I said that's within the realm of possibility. Not very likely. I wouldn't put my money on it. So all of that's possible. All right, if you guys have questions or comments, we're at 43 minutes, man. Unbelievable. I had all that stored up in me. The ice kiosk rant, it'll be famous. They'll be talking about this for years to come. Richard says, possibly the best rant in all of Rantum. You shot me with round after round of fact and then dropped a truth bomb. All right. All right. So here we go. If you guys have a question or comment, I got about 2 more minutes. I don't know what I'm going to do after this, but it's hot and I'm probably going to go to bed. Well, we'll see. Ethan says they have a water kiosk. The one that I'm talking about is a water and an ice kiosk. I call it the ice kiosk because I get ice there. All right, y'all, come on now. If you got a question or comment, topic, anything else you want to talk about. Here's what I meant to talk about, by the way. So we're trying to get, if you just tuned in, you want to watch this one. Everybody that's out there right now, type in the comment section whether Robert DeFrank said, I just tuned in. Did I miss anything? Whether or not he missed anything. What I know about free energy. Nothing. I know that there have been scams. I'm not saying that anything is a scam particularly, but there have been scams that have been going around. 20 years ago, they were going around the survival deals selling free energy machines that nobody ever gets one. So I don't pay it any attention. When it happens, they'll have it at Walmart or Sam's Club. If everything goes fine, you're going to hold me responsible. I will be gladly to be held responsible. So what I meant to tell you is that we need 6 more batteries. We have been close to being able to do it before, but things came up, and then we had a bunch of disasters vehicle-wise. If you can, go to michaelbunker.com/fundraiser. Let me pop it up here real quick. If you can, do a little donation. Another way to do it, actually a better way to do it, is be my friend on Facebook, facebook.com/offgrid. And you can donate directly and the money comes immediately. I'd like to, within 10 days, I would like to be able to have our solar trailer up and running. It's going to cost about $500 from this point right now to get that done, which includes cabling and travel back and forth to go pick up the batteries and whatnot. But we need about $500. I've got the fundraiser going. You can do it right there. Just go to michaelbunker.com. Right up here on the page, there's a little button you can click. You can also, like I said, do it up through Facebook. That is the best way, just because there's no fees. Nobody gets any money out of it other than me, and it's immediate. And so if you guys would do that, I would appreciate it. Nancy said I would be glad to see the political emails and scam phone calls calm down. Yeah. Daniel says I was invited to go to New Jersey and see Dennis Lee regarding free energy. Had one working. Yeah, I tell you what, I've been around too long. It's been going around for 20 years, and I'm not buying it. There's too many things you can do to have free energy, and that is don't need it. Don't need it. That's the best thing you can do. So if you guys can, go to the fundraiser. If not, go to facebook.com. The best thing you can do if you can't donate to help the show and to help us get on more platforms and to get the word out there is go to YouTube after this show, hit the like button, subscribe, and share the video with other people. Warn them. This guy's going to yell at you and wave his arms around and say funny things. But yeah, so help out if you can. That's the way things go. Hey, y'all, I appreciate you. As always, Lord willing, I'll be back again. If not tomorrow, maybe the next day. You never know exactly. Usually it's at 7 p.m. But if you're subscribed, you will get a notification. If you're my friend on Facebook and you follow me, you should get a notification of when I'm going to go live. All right. So I appreciate you all. As always, God bless. You are all loved by me, if not by anybody else. And I appreciate you. Lord willing, I'll see you again soon.